sir. Over to you.
Okay,
The slide
good
is off.
afternoon and good day, everyone in the part of the world, and you're welcome to M365 Chicago. And this is our own section. I'll be speaking alongside with Ayodeji Folarin. And why we came here and the topic we're going to talk about is the power of business insight in a very digital transform world using Microsoft Planner as a project collaborator. And before we move further, we'd like to appreciate those that make today and those that have been in the aims of support in terms of financial support for the event. And I'd like to appreciate, sorry, some.
Hello, Sheyi. I can't hear you. Your mic is muted. Kindly unmute. Hello, Sheyi. Can you hear me? Okay, so as we wait for Sheyi's screen, I think I can share my screen just for Sheyi to come back on board. Daddy. Okay. So let me quickly throw up my screen. I strongly believe we can see my screen. Oh, great. Sheyi is back. So Sheyi, please unmute and continue your section. Sheyi, please unmute. We can't hear you. Please unmute. Okay, so let me continue. Once Sheyi gets on board, it takes over from there. So we're actually looking at a topic today that is power of business insight in a digital transformed world using Microsoft Planner as project collaborator. Now, the next slide. On the next slide, we can see the people that actually put this together, the partners, and we sincerely appreciate them for putting this together for us all. And please, there is a raffle and a giveaway, and I want all of us to grab our mobile phone and tweet to get the giveaway and also the opportunity to win any of the raffle that we have there. So please join M365 Chicago supporting Chicago Public School through the Children First Fund. Please, if you are there and you feel you have the zeal or the will to support the public school through the Children First Fund, so please pick the URL or scan the code and donate whatsoever you can. There is no amount that is too small. So, Sheyi, are you there? Okay, so let me quickly introduce to you one of the presenter, this one of the speaker. His name is Oluwaseyi. Hello. Okay, so I thought Sheyi is back. If you can still see my screen. So I'm introducing to us one of the presenter. He's a consultant, the CEO, Covenant Technology, is an MVP on Office Server and Services. He is a Microsoft certified trainer and the MCT regional lead. Is an IT consultant, a trainer, author, a speaker, and you can see his handles. Now I move on to the next slide. So my name is Ayodeji Folarin, a Microsoft certified trainer. Okay, sorry, we are experiencing serious network issue. So we hope the network will permit us to have a successful run during this period. The agenda for today, we are looking at the digital world. We want to have a use case scenario where we'll be discussing things around Planner and Power BI. We are going to have a live demo and we'll allow our listener I'm going straight into what digital world really stand for. In those days,
I'm on now.
Okay, so Sheyi, over to you, please.
Sorry for that. Is a little bit some technical from my provider. And just as DJ has rightly run us through the whole slide, today we are going to look at a use case scenario. And before we go that line, we need to look at what is digital transformation general in digital world. And transformation has ever been occurring from generation to generation. It started way back when the steam engine was injected into the automobile industry. It was a revolution, a change occurred along the landslide of all development all over the world. Now, in 1870, electricity came in, then precisely very closely to what we're experiencing now in terms of digital evolution and digital transformation is what happened during electronics and IT in 1969 to 1970. Then the digital stage was first came up in 2015 to 2016. Now, the recent time, COVID-19 and the era there now has accelerated this process and has made digital transformation something that we need to hook up as a change that has come to stay. Next slide. A change that come to stay. And knowing that the world has changed, what are we? What's our position as individual? And one thing that I want us to talk about, and I know that you can put an input here, the advent of big data, the advent of having several applications that help in actualizing the way we accumulate data, whether structured or unstructured, has come to make the world revolve around the power of data, and that vis-a-vis insights. And that was when the brain box of insight came up. How do we get information? Now, digital transformation generally, what it can help us to do is to, one, improve the way we generate value, both from our applications, from our data, from our government, from every area, whether health sector, whether it is in financial sector, every area of our life has this band to make value generation possible. The acceleration in terms of targeting your customer, in terms of keeping value and allowing that value to be spread across different enterprise capability. All this is what digitalization has come to stay. And I think Deji will rightly confirm this, that this is why we are here, to be able to look how we can manage some application in M365 and use it to bring insight from the data we generate from there. And that takes us to the use case scenario. Now, the use case scenario is actually a case that me and Deji discussed. And one of our clients called Jairi Computer actually is planning on trying to launch a cloud solution from an on-prem window-based solution. Now, this is what they have done in terms of action. They have created 3 independent teams. They have ensured that each of these teams are independent in terms of the activity, the tasks, and the plan they are supposed to do, and the tasks they are supposed to achieve. They are also created timeline, scope, and budget to be able to what? To empower this. But Deji, you know, when we are discussing this, we came to a point that we need to now look at 2 things: the worst case scenario and the best case. Now, the worst case does not mean literally very bad, but it's more like trying to see what is the best approach for this customer called Jairi Computer. Now, for me, this is my approach, and Deji has the second option. For me, I feel that in order to make this happen, I must combine solution. Now, one of the solutions I looked at is Planner, and the other one is Power BI. Now, what is a Planner? Planner is a solution integrated into Microsoft Suite or Microsoft 365, where you'll be able to create tasks, create to-do lists, and ensure that this list work in accordance to the time and the scope. Now, how do you go about it? You create a plan. Now, you put all those your plan in a bucket, and each of those buckets, you create a task, and each of those tasks, you list them and ensure that these lists are probably trackable. You assign it to a particular staff, and you create a set due date. And this can be updates as the action is being taken, as the timeline is being met, and this can be done. And with Planner, I can actually have a view board where I can see everything I'm doing, and this can also be graphically displayed. Now, one trick about Planner is when I want to combine it with Power BI, I can export the data to Excel. Excel, Microsoft Excel, online Excel, or download it on my system, and I integrate it as a data source for Power BI. Now, the other question we want to ask ourselves is, what is Power BI? Power BI actually is a business analytics solution, and the way it works, it integrates with your data source to analyze, to modelize, and to visualize your data. Now, this drives home what we are talking about when we talk about digitalization, making sure that insight across your organization application. Now, in this context, the customer, Jari Computer, wants to be able to see what all the teams are doing holistically on the dashboard. They don't want to look at each of these teams as we can do on Planner, and each of the teams you can get the visualization, but they want to have the 3 teams created and have a dashboard to look at it. So combining this solution make us to have an edge, and that's why I said it's the worst case scenario. But we notice something when we look at our planning. We notice that you will agree with me. We notice that this could not be automated in terms of the refresh time for those updates to be carried out into dashboard, into the Power BI. We notice that it is a manual input. For me to be able to get every planner, every team I create in Planner, I must export this data and ensure this data gets as a data source to Power BI, and that will waste time. And that will also make the management of Jari Computer to even think that, am I being able to get value for this solution I have subscribed for or paid for? Now that brings us to what Deji's solution is, which is the option 2. Deji.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sheyi. Well, I'm proposing a complete automated solution. Now, since a team already have been using Planner to manage their activity, to manage their task, the projects, and we have 3 teams that we have there, and each team can only see what belongs to them in the Planner. They can't see what belongs to the other team. And the management, the directors, the stakeholders, they want to have an holistic view of what is going on in the organization. So we felt the best approach is, number 1, to have the Planner. After we set up everything on Planner, we move all the details from Planner. We move them straight into SharePoint. After that, we move instead of exporting directly from Planner to Excel, we set up a SharePoint document folder where we created an Excel file to help us hold all that will be going on within Planner, all the updates that will be captured within Planner. And we set up a flow using Power Automate. The Power Automate is at interval. It can be hourly or every minute. So go back to the Planner, check all the updates, and put them into the Excel online that is in the SharePoint document. Now, once we have this on Excel online, the next thing is to visualize the process. Now, at this point, the advantage here is far more than option 1. Number 1 advantage is this. Maybe interval of 1 hour, you'll see the latest information right there on your dashboard. Number 2, when we export from option 1, we found out that the information that was exported, they are limited. They are not that detailed as expected. But when we went through this option 2, we found out that we can actually pick every detail that we need from Planner into Excel so that we can have a robust data source for our Power BI. So that is why this second option is far better than the first option. So at this point, I will not want to bother us so much. I want us to go straight into the demo section. So Sheyi, if you are there, you can share your screen.
Okay. Just as we said earlier, that we actually look at the customer, we ensure that we look into the customer inquiry, and we notice that there are several ways to achieve it. And the worst case scenario is what I propose, using Planner as a baseline to which we can actually run the solution. But that could not help us at this time. What we need to do is to ensure that we create a solution that can be automated, can also update himself, and we can realize this in the shortest time. Now, the first thing we did was to create plan. Now, how do you create plan? Microsoft Planner is a very good tool that helps you to monitor your tasks, help you to create your tasks, and help you to ensure that you can track the people that have set information that is required. Now, how do I create it? I first create a name for that plan. For example, let me say sample Deji. Sorry, Deji, I'm using your name. And I need to identify where this plan is going to be usable. It can be used as a public facing plan, which is throughout my organization, Jare Computer, everyone there have access to this plan. Or I would say this is a private one that is for specific people that are related to this task on this project, launching the cloud solution from the window-based solution to a cloud-based solution. Now, once I've established that, I create the plan. And one thing you have to note, Planner is integrated with M365 user group. That means the integration go across not just on Planner, it goes to Teams, it goes to even your email. Because if I open my box now, as I create this plan, there's an email alert that will be sent to my box confirming that a plan has been created and a trigger has been released. Once I create this plan, let me just create it, but for this demo's sake, it takes some few minutes and is created. Now, once this is created, you see the plan. Then I need to create the buckets. Ensure this is what I was saying, that you can have a chart where you have all what you are doing. You can have it scheduled on your to ensure that it is properly integrated with your calendar. Now let me go back to what we did earlier. We have 3 teams already created. You can see one is team A, which is actually the process of this team. What this team are supposed to do is to ensure that they create a client database. The window-based solution needs to be exported, migrated to the cloud. So we need to ensure that we load the database to the staging database, prepare the staging database. Then we also need to check the integrity and ensure that governance, that ensure that it is properly, the policy and the compliance are followed. The next team created by Jare Computer is called converting this particular data from the Win form to the web form. That means from the window-based solution to the web solution. Now, what do we need to do? We need to create a model, that is create a prototype by creating in 2 solutions, the mobile and the web portal. We also need to create where this can be administered. And that means on the web part, we need to create the admin console, and we need to allow people to be able to manage it. Now, the third team that was created by Jare Computer was to ensure the marketing people are integrated with the process of the production. Now, in creating this, they created the event launch, they ensure they test the product by bringing the third party, and they ensure they create advert channel through the newspaper, to the radio, and also through social media. Now, these 3 teams, you can see they are all working independently. My own solution was just to go to the schedule. You can see you export it to Excel. Once you click on export to Excel, I now transfer this file to Ayo as a solution, as a content that is ready to be pushed to Power BI. But these are actually done manually. So Ayo, I think you can roll in your own solution.
Yeah, so thank you very much. So Sheyi, you can just do the export. Let's have an example of the file. Do the export and open up the Excel file. Let us see some of the limitation of this export process. Number one limitation here is this. If you open the file that was exported, you'll find that the columns, the entities you have there, they are few. The fields are not that much. So if you have more robust more fields, then you can tell better story. So if you look at what we have here, we have column for priority, who created it, who this was assigned to, what bucket does this belong to, and so on and so forth. And I need to export for the team A, for team B, for team C, and I need to put them together again as a single file. Then I need to build a dashboard for the management team to have an holistic view of what is going on to those three teams that was set up. You believe that this process is so tough, and I need somebody to be updating, to be exporting this maybe every 1 hour or every day. And if they fail to export it to the data source or the data bank, I bet you are going to get information that can mislead decision of the management. Now, let's leave this process and look at a more robust process. So, Sheyi, permit me to share my screen now.
Go ahead.
Okay, so with what I have, let me go to, okay, I hope this is my browser. Good. Now on the browser, the first thing I need to do here is to set up a SharePoint folder. And to set up a SharePoint folder is very simple. Just create a SharePoint team site. And once you create the site, come straight to the document. And from here, create a sample data, Excel file that will help you hold all your documents. So this is a sample Excel file that was uploaded, and the Excel file, if you look at the contents, is blank. There is nothing there. So there is a file to help hold the task, the assignment, the buckets. So each of these page, there's a table to help hold the content that we need for the purpose of our data visualization using Power BI. Now, after creating the folder, the file in the document folder, the next thing is to set up Microsoft Teams. Now, how do we set up, to set up Power Automate? That is our flow. Now, to set up the flow is also very simple and straightforward. So the first thing we need to do here on our flow is to have, number one, our running period, because it's a process that should be running automatically all the time. Now, we want this process to run every 3 hours, and I'm free to edit it. If I want it to run every hour or weekly, daily, minutes, or seconds, I can always do whatsoever I want to do. But okay, let me just allow this to run every hour. That is one. So, and the description, let me edit the description as well. That this, you are running every 1 hour, because I've changed the property there. The interval property has been changed. Number two, I want to have a connection to the Excel file. Now, so I need the object that will enable me establish my connection to the Excel file, which I've done the connection. And after that, I want to delete the existing rows I have in that file. So if there's any row in this file, any information here, help me delete whatsoever I have there as information. And once you delete it, the next flow, the next activity is, I want you to use the team connection. As Sheyi rightly said, anything you do on Planner, you can always call up the group on Teams. look at the group on Teams, and when you look at the group, call for me all the plans that we have in Planner. When you call them up, then connect yourself to the Excel file we are talking about. Now, from the Excel file, populate all these details: the title, the start time, the created time, the due time, the completed date and time, who the assigned ID, the assigned to. I can pick all these things. There are lots of details that I can pull out that is not available when you do the normal export. This is one of the flexibility that this can give to me. Now, so apart from that, I do this not only for the task, for the buckets. Help me harvest all the buckets we have. Help me harvest all the plans we have, if it's more than one. Do the same thing for all the assignments, and do the same thing for all the what? The rows. So if I should go back to my SharePoint, okay, let me just rename this guy. Rename this as old. Let me just put old here. So this is the one I use, and rename this so that we can see what I'm talking about. Rename this as A. Okay, so let me open this. If I open it, it's blank at the moment. So what did I want to do? From here, now that my flow is ready, let me check again. It's still blank. My task, the task should be blank. There is nothing there. So back here, I want to save and run this flow, this process automation. I want to run it. Let me quickly do a manual test at the moment. Come on, run the flow for me. Done. Now, if you look at my flow, the process has started running. If I come back here, automatically what I have here will be automatically populated. So as my flow is running, okay, so number one, this is slow, it's taking time. Oh, okay, plans. My plans is almost done. The plan is almost done. Let me see, is there another one that is almost done? Just the plan. Let's come here and check the plans. So the plan should be coming up any moment from now. So that is the simple process. Now, this process, every hour, I don't need to come back here to run this process. This is done automatically. And all the data will be pulled up in Microsoft Excel that is online on SharePoint. And the last part of the story is to connect Power BI and connect it to my data source. Where is my data source? Connect it to my data source, which is the online file. So the file that we have online, connect it to it. And if you can see what I have here, the buckets, these are all the buckets. These are all the plans on my planner. The team A, team B, team C, as when she was showing us the planner. And this is the task. There are a lot of activity, and these are the users that have one or two things assigned to them. So all this information, I have them summarized on the screen, as you can see. Now, immediately I'm done with this, the next thing is to publish this detail to the cloud. So let me see if this is already pulling up my details. Okay, it's still trying to load. Let me see if I can refresh and see something there. At the moment, that is still loading. So my flow is slow today. I don't know why the process is so slow. Okay, definitely it will complete it. So let's allow that to work, and let's see the final product. Now, this is a final product. This is a dashboard that is sitting on the desk of the stakeholder, and they can easily see Which plan are we talking about? Let me see team A, just for team A. Everything here is telling me what is happening only for team A. For team A, they have 7 major tasks they are supposed to work on, out of which they've not started 3, they've completed 2, and 4 of them are already late. And where are those 4 things that are late? I can see the detail. They are in color red. The one that are not started, they are in gray, and the one completed, they are in green. And because these ones are in red, they are causing big issue. And where is the staff in charge? Deji is holding one of the activity, Samuel is holding another one, Sheyi is holding one, Latif is holding one. This can give me a good overview, and I can quickly call and know if there is a need for more resource to be pushed in, or there is need for us to extend the time because there is a deadline. Any project you are managing, you are monitoring 3 major things: the scope, the time, and the budget. So at the glance, I can see what is going on. Or, okay, leave that. Let me see all the buckets we have. All the buckets we have, can you give me this bucket for data migration? Azure data migration. Have we completed the data migration process? We've only done one of the activity. 2 of them, they are still pending, and we are planning a launch. We've not migrated the client data. Where are the pending activity? These 2, they've not started. Dara and Alex, they've not even started their work. Then I can see what is going on. I can even capture more things with a comment. If there's a comment Dara dropped on his page on Planner, I can see the comment here. I can act immediately as the head or the stakeholder so that there will not be any issue at the end of the day. Now, this is an automated process that does not need the attention of anybody. And you can actually view this even on your mobile phone. You can view it anyhow you want to, on the dashboard as you want it. So that is how the best, the second approach and the best approach. So, Sheyi, over to
Deji. I don't know. Maybe can you display the old one that we actually tested earlier, and to show them the data before you troubleshoot on the flow. But generally, from what we have just seen now, that Microsoft Planner is a tool that can help you to enhance your project management. Now, the micromanagement of teams, especially when they have tasks they need to do. Now, from what they just did now, it shows us that I can be the MD and I can know what each of my team. Now, the question is that we can have several teams monitored at the same time, because most of the launch, most of the product line that we ship out are always connected. Or if you have a marketing team or you have a production team, we are all connected as a team across what we do. And as far as I'm concerned, having this kind of solution, I can visualize what I am doing, what my team is doing, and I can capture it and ensure that I streamline the targeted information I need and display it on Power BI. I think we can go back to our client now to tell them that we can actually use Microsoft 365 solution, Planner, SharePoint, Excel Online, Power Automate, and Power BI to give them a solution that can enhance the way they monitor their project and ensure those projects meet their specific timeline. Okay. Can we go back to the slide? Is there any question for us? We still have some few minutes.
Okay. Question and answer. Can you see my slide?
Yes, I can. So, Deji, do you think your client will be happy, Jari Computers, once we deploy this solution?
Definitely. So this can help them manage all the plans, not just one. If they set up a new plan today, it will help them manage that plan, and it will surface it immediately on the dashboard, just like magic. So imagine you are setting up a plan for your team, and the next thing is already showing on your dashboard, and you are tracking all the activity, is flagging red where you're supposed to be red, and so many other things like that. So it's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, very amazing. So the moderator,
Question?
please, do we have any question for us? Because we learned that the keynote is coming up some few minutes from now, so we are trying our effort despite our technical issue to ensure that we quickly finish up our own presentation before that time, so that we can all be set to go for the keynote. So, is there any question? Okay. While we wait for the moderator, we can just display the presentation, and because whenever I do a presentation and I don't see any question, there are two things that comes to my mind. Is either I do the very worst presentation that people could not talk, or I actually I did something that make them to just say, okay, it's saying it's making the right approach. Yeah.
I can see Propola, there's question.
Okay.
Yes. All right. Good day.
Go ahead.
Mr. Deji and Mr. Sheyi. Thank you for the beautiful work you have done. Unfortunately for me, I had challenges with internet, so I was unable to follow all through. I would like to know if there will be a recorded version that somebody can pick up some of the missing notes. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. I think there should be a recorded version, and I know there should be a recorded version. Then at least before the end of the event, we get to know there's going to be because most events there is always on demand, and I think this also will have that.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Ayodeji.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Popola. So we have just 3 more minutes. So if there is no other question, I would like to give my final notes. So for those of you that want to have any event in the organization, you can make use of. I can see one hand up. Oh, please, over to you.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, is there a possibility of retrieving your data source directly from Planner rather than going through the process of taking it from Planner to Excel, before Excel to Power BI? Can I just go from Power BI directly to Planner to get those statistics?
Okay, so at the moment, your data source from Planner cannot sync directly into Power BI. So what we do is either you use option 1, as Sheyi has demonstrated, export to Excel and use Excel as your data source in Power BI, or you bring in Power Automate that help you at interval update whatsoever is happening in Planner on Power BI dashboard. So at the moment, this is what we have. I hope I've answered the question.
I get, Deji, I get where Mandel is trying to look at. Generally, Power BI as a solution generally has a refresh time. So, all those things we do with Power Automate, if there's a direct connection from Planner directly to Power BI, it take off that overload on our resources and especially on our subscription. But as that's a good one, and there's always a user voice that Microsoft creates for each of these products. And I think that this can be something you can just go online, look for planner user voice, and try to put that there, that it's something that it needs to be captured, especially if you want to have a very deep dive into insight, especially from what your co-worker is doing in terms of the tasks and to do their doing.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so Sheyi, your final word, final notes?
Yeah, my final word is that we have come to a point at which transformation has brought a lot of ease, and the overload that we carry in terms of manual intervention, we need to reduce it to be the minimum, and ensure we embrace automation. Now, as we plan within our team, we also need to know that certain things that are targeted. One, the timeline, the scope, and ability to meet up your deadline. And Planner gives you this solution. Now, for management, for people that sit in the decision area, they need to have an insight, not just one plan or two plans. If you have 10, 15 plans in your establishment, you can use the Power BI to give you that visibility. And that is the message we're trying to say here. With Planner, with Power BI, you can have a better insight in a very good business digital world. Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you very much, Sheyi. So my final word is this: whatsoever you do in the organization, as far as project is concerned, if you don't want to get the license for Microsoft projects, and you already have the license for Office, then I tell you, you start using Planner to manage whatsoever you do. Though I've not seen Planner staying with Microsoft for a very long time, very soon, Planner will eventually be embedded fully into Microsoft team. That is the to-do. So your to-do is being expanded if you see what is happening there at the moment, and that will take over all the activity on Planner. So Planner and Microsoft project is almost the same thing. In fact, I would say they are the same thing, just the only difference is that you don't have a Gantt chart on Planner, you have it on Microsoft project. You can plan your project, you can track your project, you can monitor whatever is going on, and you can control it. So thank you very much. Let's see how we can use Planner, SharePoint, we can use Power Automate, and we can use Microsoft Power BI together as a single solution. So do have a nice time.
Bye.
Thank you, Sheyi. Thank you, Ayodeji. Wonderful session. Thank you.